I think you have to have some type of coaching or teaching of what is going on and how to be profitable so that you can afford those kind of things. Um, that's why I think coaching is a big part of that. I also believe that the customer service part that we really don't know a whole lot about. We were never really taught that as technicians.
You know that at that 7-figure number is just itching at them, right? They want to be bigger. And so we've helped many shops go from that small number to the larger number, because there's some marketing things that they're not doing, that they don't know to do, that we turn it around and we bring those extra customers in. They're kind of fun projects, but it's a scary venture, right? Someone who's that small to invest that much. Hi there, I'm Brad Herlock, your host of the Garage Grit Podcast, and welcome back to another episode, another Origin and Impact series. And I'm here with Steve Finzel of Finzel's Master Tech in Indiana. Steve, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
I've had conversations with Steve before. He's been on a couple of different SOPs, shop owner panels. Episode 6, where we talked about recruiting top talent, and episode 32, which was relatively recently about talking about succession planning. And so Steve's got a lot of great information and great experiences to share with us. And so I'm anxious to hear what he has to say here on this Origin and Impact series episode. And just for a point of reference, just to frame this out, if you are trying to grow your shop, if you're trying to improve your shop, either of those two or both of those, if you're trying to set it up so that the next generation, or you can actually pass it off to someone else, this is the podcast for you. You're listening to the right episode. You're listening to the right podcast. If you're not trying to do those things, then, maybe this will be entertainment for you, but most likely you're just in the wrong spot. And so, but if you are trying to improve, you're in the right spot. Pay attention, tune in, be prepared if you do get distracted to go back and listen again to different parts. All right. Because I think there's going to be a handful of nuggets I'm expecting, during this episode. And, sorry, I didn't talk you up too much, Steve. Did I?
Nope. I think we'll be all right.
All right. Good. I'm glad you have that. I'm glad let's go. So Steve, you're also a coach with Repair Shop of Tomorrow. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
And so, but you also own a shop there in Indiana. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your shop first?
Well, the shop has got kind of a long history. I've been here doing this for 35 years. Started off like, probably most people listening, as a technician in the west suburbs of Chicagoland area. And then had the opportunity to come down to Terre Haute and open up a small 2-bay, 1-lift shop. And that was back in 1998.
Now, did you buy it from somebody else, or did you just, so was it a vacant, or you started it, or did you buy it from somebody else that was already existing?
It was actually a guy that had started an auto repair shop and put a guy in business, that owned an electrical company. And so he had a bunch of shop trucks, and this guy was supposed to fix his shop trucks and then start a business. And the guy really, it ended up being not a good moneymaker for either one of them. And so he was articulating that to me, and I said, I think I could do that. And so that's what kind of drew me down there to kind of dig him out and then take it over. And that took less than a year, to kind of do that. And then a year after, and that was not like a big purchase deal. That was like very easy, very small shop.
Well, I got some questions about that. So, was he your first fleet account, or did you just like pay the money severed ways? And
I really came down and met a lot of people through him. I did work on his trucks. But then I got a couple other, there's a First Financial Bank here in town had a fleet where they would literally entertain people all the time, vans, limos,
nice,
buses, anything. And I got in with them, fixed a few cars that couldn't be fixed anywhere else, and started developing a name for myself pretty early in the game.
Okay. So when you bought this shop, did you put your name on it right away, or it was someone else's name?
Yeah. Cause I was coming from, west suburbs of Chicago, of course, down in Terre Haute, Indiana. I was a Chicago gangster, and, nobody wanted to, I don't know. I was the outside guy coming in. So, anyways, that was pretty short lived though. Marathon Oil Company actually came knocking on my door and asked me to, they had an open 3-bay marathon station, that they were looking to find an owner operator. And I jumped right on that. Great location. A matter of fact, it was a location right across the street from where I'm currently at. But when I came in town and was driving around with my wife, like, it had landscaping, it was a beautiful looking place. And I said, someday I'm going to own that. That's going to
Okay.
be mine. And
Before
so
the offer came in?
they, yeah, before they even came in and said, "Hey,
That's
would you
great.
like to be the operator here?" And so then, I had to do everything that it took to make Marathon happy so that I could be a, jobber. And,
Right.
and that was really kind of short lived too. That only lasted 3 years. And then
Well,
they
hold on. I want to back
basically,
up. So what did you do with the old shop? You left that shop. You were owning it,
it was a rental deal. I did not own it or nothing. I
but
just
you had the
moved out.
business. So did you take your customers to Marathon then? Is that what you did?
Yep. Yep. We
Okay.
just moved, and then I called it Finzel South High Marathon.
Okay.
Back then, and that was the first time I had my name on it, and that was like 93. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I said 98 before. It was 89, and then in 93 is when this happened.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And then you were there until around 96, at which point what happened? What changed with
They
Marathon?
they came in with a big increase in rent, and I didn't understand. I was like, I'm selling more gas than you ever sold out of location. I'm selling more tires, batteries, accessories you sold out of location, and now you want to double my rent. And I said, um, there's no way. And they're like, well, you can hand us the keys. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just borrowed money for put gas in the ground. I've got employees. Like, I'll be bankrupt. Like, like, what are you talking about? You can talk to my attorney. And, like, that kind of stops the conversation real quick. But they didn't know that I didn't have an attorney because I didn't have any money. I didn't have, I didn't know what I was going to do. But they came to me and gave me an opportunity to buy it. And that was kind of a turning point, because back then, unlike the banking industry now, I told you I had developed that relationship with First Financial Bank. I was literally, and it was a great piece of property. I was able to buy, um, on my signature and the value of the property.
Okay.
So that was craziness back then, which
Yeah. Yeah.
companies
They were
unheard of
definitely
these
looser
days.
with the loans, right? And small banks, like it was all about that trust relationship. Whereas now there's so much, I don't know if it's regulation or oversight, or if it's just the economic, the landscape of lending these days. But yeah, it's tighter requirements. You can't just go in with a handshake. It can't be I know this guy. I feel like he showed up at my son's christening party, and so he must be good people, or whatever the case might be, right? I mean, that's not the case anymore. Uh, so borrowing money to purchase, like, that would have to look differently. You would not have been able to do it
Wouldn't have been able to do it. And I
yeah.
had several business guys in town that I knew that I was talking to about it. And they said, listen, if the banks say no, just let me know. Like, there's no way you cannot buy that corner. You have to buy that corner.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay. So you had a lot of people rooting for you. That's a win. All right. So in 96, 97 ish, you bought it. It was yours. Dropped the Marathon name,
right.
and you're selling gas at 97 still.
Nope. We dumped everything, pulled it when Marathon pulled out, they pulled the tanks and everything. So I actually, we had the 3-bay operation going, and I basically mirrored those 3 bays on the other side and built a block addition on. And so we went to 6 bays at that point. And we operated like that until 2008. No gas, just in the same location as the Marathon station was, with 6 bays. And that's when it really started growing.
Okay. It's the fact that you're moving from no gas to just a repair shop. Just is the wrong word, but I guess the municipality was fine with that. And obviously the climate of municipalities has changed over the last couple of decades. What was it like in the 90s? Were they rigid? Were they difficult? Were they measuring water
I don't,
runoff? Were they?
I don't remember it being any issue, because that when Marathon cleared the property, um, obviously IDM had to come in and environmental develop, agency to clean everything up. So there was soil samples and all that done, and then, a clean bill of health. So then from that point on, it was already rated as a garage. I never had to, I didn't have to change anything. I just kept operating as a auto repair shop.
All right. Then what happened in 2008?
We bought the property to the north and then built a 72 by 60 pole barn and added it's 7 bays, 5 more lifts over there. And we operated like that all the way, to right next to each other. The buildings
Both
were
sides of the
connected.
street.
Yeah, no, same side of the street, right next to each other, like a little campus. And the buildings were connected with Ethernet and everything. So it was like the same shop. It didn't matter. I had service advisors in the one shop and in the other shop. And we ran like that till COVID hit. And I was just had this inspiration of building this new shop that we're currently in. And then kind of put that on pause for a couple of years and then finished building the new shop in 22, which is where we're at now, which is 14 bays under one roof. We sold off the Marathon corner and we still own the pole barn shop across the street that we do like heavy mechanical in now. So.
Oh, that's interesting. So you sold off the Marathon location, but the adjacent one that you built on that side of the street is still yours for diesel and heavier vehicles. Okay. So who's in the Marathon building? Is it it's a competitor?
Actually, it's just a few years. It took them 2 years to get it off, but it opened last month and it's a brand new BP station, like convenience store BP.
Yeah. Okay. So not a competitor at all. Yeah. Love the way it just kind of goes back to where it started, right? Here's gas.
Right.
So,
and they put tanks back in the ground and all that stuff. So
that's amazing. All right. So, now is BP like you said, a convenience store? So
it was an independent guy who bought it. And then it kind of sat there for a year. They did nothing. And then they started coming in and figured out how to reconstruct the building into a convenience store. And then they worked on it for over a year. And it was really weird. People were thinking it was me because things would happen and then things wouldn't happen for months. And then things would happen and then that. And then recently it opened up and I don't know why they chose the BP flag. I have nothing to do with it. But it's, big BP canopy and sign and convenience store in the whole shop.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Well, that doesn't hurt. I mean, it would have been interesting, and if it would have been a competing repair shop, that would have been.
That was not in the paperwork of the contract, and there's nothing can be there. Brakes, mufflers, oil change, repair for the next 25 years. So I'm not worried about that either.
Oh, that was in the contract when you sold the land.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you were protecting yourself from the get-go. All right. I like that. All right. So the new campus is new. It's very new. It's only 2-3 years old at this point, right? 3 years.
No, it's unbelievable. We went to we go to market as your dealership alternative. So we literally have like a drive-through check-in lane with 3 kiosks and service writers in there. And then 14 bays out under one roof. One of those bays is, a pit alignment rack, flush mount alignment rack, and then dead bay space in front of it. So we're set up with plenty of space for ADAS. And then we also, the drive-through lane, when you need the big long distance, we can, shut that down for why we have to do a extended setup on ADAS. So
you are offering ADAS. That is something that you're doing. Okay. And so let's talk about that real briefly. I come across a handful of repair shops who have kind of started to, like, they're putting their toes in the water in that game. And I find that interesting. So there's, as you might be aware, there's mobile ADAS guys, right? And some of them, like they try to do their scans in parking lots, which that doesn't work because water runoff requires it to be on a slope, and ADAS requires it to be perfectly flat, right? So Um, so anyway, so you've got that bay set up specifically so you can do all the scans and whatnot. Are you marketing that specifically to body shops who don't have that kind of a setup? Are you marketing it to other repair shops? Are you marketing it directly to the customer? What have you got going on?
I didn't really do a great job of, like, when you first bought that equipment, which was a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, they would tell you need to go out and do all that. We're pretty busy shop to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go about it that way, but I have relationships with 2 body shops that we've worked with,
Okay.
and they knew that I did it. And then the offline dealerships figured out I could do it. And so we do get quite a bit of sublet work that we're doing for
I'm sorry, you
people.
said the offline dealerships. Were you talking about used dealers?
Used dealers for sure, but like if a Ford dealer has a Chevy in there or has a Nissan or something, they can't.
Oh, I understand what you mean
They
now. I'm
won't
sorry.
need. They
Yes, of
won't
course.
need ADAS.
Yes.
The windshield replayer. We just had a windshield deal on a Subaru the other day that, and it ended up being that the windshield wasn't installed properly. But anyways, they brought that to us to get that fixed.
So I've got a question. I read an article that said that that suggested that your calibrations can get out of alignment just over time. Now, I don't know how well they actually factored in, the minor bump, right, against here or there or potholes or whatnot. But the article was suggesting that over a period of years, maybe 7 or 8, your calibrations aren't as spot on as they were. Have you seen any evidence? It's new. We're still, I think we're still trying to figure this out. Have
I
you
don't know
seen
that
any
that's.
evidence of that?
I don't know that that's necessarily how that works, because the cameras, when they go, whatever type of sensor or camera it is, when it gets to a maximum allowable spec, you're going to have warning lights and stuff come on that says things aren't working properly.
No,
Um,
okay. So hold on. I mean, so there are warning lights for ADAS calibrations on the newer vehicles?
um,
Because I have not seen that on my,
yeah,
my check engine on my next to my check engine light. I don't know the answer to that.
I I said that without really realizing that, but there's, like, I'm just saying that when you get a camera deal, you've got codes and things that will tell you, right, what camera you're looking at. But I don't think it's something like a wearable alignment angle or something like that you're going to have to do. Now, whenever you do suspension work, you have to recalibrate the systems, obviously, because we're ADAS is mostly talking about the way that the car is pointing down the road, an angle. So, like, when you're if a
Yeah, but I
camera
mean, like
cannot pick something up.
Ford. I just saw a Ford commercial the other. I think it was Ford was talking about how like highway driving done. It's done. It's automatic. Like it's sent, and so it's sure it's camera angles and forward and down the road, but it's got to be paying attention to your right and your left.
No, the whole thing. I mean, the whole car obviously is set up that way. But if you align and the thrust angles off on the car or anything like that is done, you have to go in and reset ADAS, forward facing cameras, all of that type of stuff. If the like on the one we were doing the other day, the windshield was replaced, and there is an allowable degree when you put your targets that it's got to be able to focus on. And if it can't focus on it, you have to repair the vehicle first before you can calibrate it. So I don't know that bumps. I'm going to have to say that's got to be engineered into the system somehow. I don't think you're just going to be like, hey, it's been 2 years and I haven't had my car aligned. I'm going to get an alignment and check that, or I'm showing tire wear. I think things are not going to work. Cameras are not going to work. Cruise control is going to stop, your adaptive cruise, or something's going to happen.
So to the driver, there's going to be visible warning
There's
signals
going to
that
have to be something that I don't think it's going to become a maintenance item. I think you're going to have to do a repair, and then you're going to have to calibrate.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. You might be spot on. It's more than likely that you're spot on. I think that there's so many X variables there that I don't know. I think I'd be really upset if I bought a car only to learn that I had to do an ADAS calibration every 3 or 4 years. Like because the cost
I
is
don't think
not
you're going to have to do
inexpensive. It's
that.
not $5, right? It's a lot more than that.
I don't think you'd have to do the one thing that's weird. It's 2025 now. And I remember when this first came out, they said that every car, like there's static and dynamic, like calibration, right? Like you could just drive the vehicle down the road and it looks for the white lines and the signs and all that. And it recalibrates itself, right? You don't have to do anything. And then there's ones that you physically have to hook it up and put the targets out and everything. And they said by 2025, all cars were going to have to be calibrated like that because getting ready for this autonomous car that would drive down the road, that there's different conditions like snow and things where you wouldn't see a line on the road or different deals. So, and I haven't really paid that close attention, but I don't know if we've already gotten there that you can buy a
Right.
car.
Right.
But
No,
that
and
is I mean, it's
I'm going to show my age. I'm going to show my age by saying that I'm not comfortable with an automatic autonomous car. I'm just not, right? And so, like, back to that highway driving, the first thing I thought of with the automatic highway driving was how often I look in my rearview mirror to make sure someone's not about to run me over. Like, I don't hang out in the left lane. I move over, but I'm still paying attention to whether or not the guy behind me isn't. And so, and so, like, I want to be able to jump on the gas, and I want that power to be right there, right? And I want to be paying attention. I don't know. That's me. And I've also had people in this industry claim that the world's going to go to autonomous drivers, and no one's going to own a car, and you're just going to order a car on an app, and the driverless car will come up and pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. And I'm thinking, no. Again, I like my freedom. I like being able to say, okay, I decide right now. I don't want to wait 10 minutes for an app. I want to go right now, right? And so,
I was with the guy the other day, a bunch of guys talking, and this guy said that he jumped in this dude's Tesla and they were heading out and whatever. But he said he works out of town or he works here, but he's like 30, 45 minutes away from home, and he could get in his car and tell it to go home, and he doesn't have to touch anything. And if he's on the highway, it will pass cars. It will do whatever it does and drive him all the way home. And I'm thinking, I mean, I guess, I mean, but I really, I would be the same. Like, how do you trust that all the time? Does that mean we could take a nap? Like, does that, like, that's kind of nuts to think about that. Like, how can it, but it's seeing objects coming from all over the place. Like, and most of the time, people are on the phone or we're distracted anyways. So this car is paying more attention to the road than we are. So who knows?
listen, I like making phone calls. Put the Bluetooth in, have it, dial up a number, and then put it in drive, and have a conversation with somebody. I don't have to worry about making eye contact with them in the passenger seat, right? And because they're not there, right? So, but I have on many occasion had to admit, I'm sorry, I totally missed what you just said. I am driving right now, and that's the first priority. And you should have saw what that guy just did in front of me. so like I have it triaged, right? And so, but yeah, no, I don't know. I like the idea from a productivity standpoint of being able to, get stuff done while you're driving, or while you're riding at that point. But I'm not a control freak. That's a mean word. I like control enthusiast. Is that okay? Can we agree to control enthusiast? Please feel free. Let's make it a common thing. Some friends of mine went to Maine. They're like, come on out to Maine. And so this was many years ago. And I was like, absolutely, let's do this. Just ride with us, they said. And I'm like, no, I'll drive myself. I even put the dog in the passenger seat, and she and I went up to the to Maine on ourselves. And so the other car had 4 people or 3 people in it. They had room for me, right? We could have put the dog in the back; it would have been fine. But no, I like to be. So while I was up there, if I wanted to drive the 45 minutes to an hour to get to the nearest Walmart, I could. And so, like, I don't know. I'm sure I could have borrowed their car, but now I didn't have to ask. And I was also on my own pace. I made it up there faster than they did because I didn't stop as often. Right. And so, options. I like those options. I like that that kind of thing. So, all right. So, but this something you said there was interesting. The number of shops that I call on and say, how often do you have to worry about ADAS calibrations? And they say never. But you said that every time they do suspension work, they should be paying attention to the calibrations. Did I hear that wrong?
Right. There is set, I don't know if you call them manuals or whatever, but like if you do this type of repair and do this, you need to do this and that calibration, right? So there's guides to follow of what calibrations need to be done. But like if you do an alignment, you have to set steering thrust angle. If you set steering thrust angle, you have to calibrate forward facing camera. So
is there somewhere a list of here, if you do a wheel alignment to these cars, you need a calibration?
yeah, like, I mean, Hunter has it.
Mhm.
Autel has it. They have the binders. I mean, you can go to the website.
Yes, please. Go to the website. Don't go for the paper binders. Put the paper binders down and slowly back away. Let's go. Let's keep this digital. All right. So, so there are a list of those cars. Now, what percentage of shops do you think, repair shops, mechanic shops, do you think are paying attention to those lists?
Well, I'm saying everyone that you called that says, nah, it never comes up. I'm thinking all of those are not paying attention to it at all.
Okay.
But they probably don't have an ADAS machine either. So why would they?
No, they don't. Right. That 100%. And I got to tell you, with the cost of putting one in place, they probably shouldn't. They should probably collaborate with the shop in town that actually has the extra bay that can set it up and then like work together.
And that's one of the topics that they talk about when you're going to buy one of these pieces of equipment. There's no liability on this yet. So there's nothing that's been written down or proven to an auto shop like that you can't do alignment work if you can't calibrate ADAS. But like at what point, like if an accident's caused because ADAS didn't recognize something was pulling out in front of you and you just did a repair that required ADAS and it didn't work because it wasn't calibrated, like the shop should be liable for it, but there's none of that out there that I'm aware of right now either.
Yeah,
shops are
put it in front of a handful of lawyers,
right.
Not even a good one, but just a half decent lawyer.
Like, and I said a light, like I'm thinking there had to be something that would tell you it's out of, there probably is really, besides the system not working, or you turn on your reverse and it doesn't show you the picture of your car or something. I don't know what you're going to get. The fact that like we said earlier, the adaptive braking and cruise control didn't work right.
But I think that so many people, so many drivers out there are oblivious to how their car is working. They don't really know when it's actually working correctly or versus when it's slightly off. So I think that as we continue to rely more and more on these features, we get even lazier and even less informed, and which is crazy because we need to be more informed potentially. And I'm saying we as drivers, but now as shop owners, yeah, what you're really saying is you need to, if you're a shop owner, go do some research. Go look at the lists that are out there. And you said you said Hunter and who else?
Autel.
All right. Autel and what? And there's car.
We were just looking at the Hunter one the other day. We don't have the Hunter machine. We have the Autel machine, but we were looking at it because their list is really cool for telling you what to do, what needs to be done. But here's the thing. And in reality, like we spend all this time on ADAS and it does pretty well take care of itself until something breaks. You run into a parking curb and, your front radar sensor's gone, or you have to replace the windshield, or your side mirror gets taken off by the garage, whatever. Then, it's kind of obvious that you have to do something. But general repair, they're getting away with it without having that equipment. But then you look at the shop size, like there's a lot of shop size with just pure square footage, the clutter that's in it. You can't calibrate. You couldn't set.
No. Yeah, you would have to outsource that to someone that does have that space.
So,
yeah.
And if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to spend it on maybe the alignment machine, maybe a road force balance machine, scan tool equipment. Like there's a lot of things that most repair shops, because like ADAS is a very small portion of my business, very small. still
Right.
today.
Well, and I wonder if it should be. I wonder if it doesn't sound like it should be. It sounds like every single shop in your area needs to be coming to you after they've done an alignment or any kind of change to the suspension. And you've got 2 different body shops, but I mean, I'm guessing there's 12 more within a few miles or a stone's throw. Maybe, in a footprint smaller than a golf course that could also be coming to you, right? And so there's a marketing opportunity potentially there. But I actually want to, our listeners aren't trying to find out your marketing opportunities. Our listeners are trying to figure out what they need to be aware of. And it sounds like they need to go out to these websites. Maybe does caradas.com have these types of resources? I'm not sure if they do or not.
Let me fire out a quick text here and see if he can give me the website, and I'll share that. But it'll give, like, if you're making a repair, you should at least inform the customer that they need to take it and get it calibrated, or you need to go take it somewhere and get it calibrated for them and have it ready to go when you deliver the vehicle.
Well, yeah, and if you're providing a concierge type service, I would think that you would take it somewhere and get it calibrated for them. But obviously, you've got to be transparent about that before you even start to do the wheel alignment, right? Because you've looked up the car, you've realized that this particular model, this particular year, and this particular job, you should pay attention to it, or at least make the customer sign off on it as deferred or declined work, right? I mean, my goodness, protect yourself. Keep your shop going in business, because we don't know like what the exposure is right now. We don't know. It hasn't been tested, as you said. Or if it has been tested, I'm unaware of those tests. So we'll put up those. We'll put up a couple of websites for shop owners to check out and look at. But I find that interesting because, like I said, some of them are kind of dabbling with it. They're not actually penetrating the market, and I think it's in part because the education curve is like we're at the very early stages of this, right? We need to get the word out of what shops need to be doing for their customers. And so, and the majority of our most of our listeners are repair shops on the mechanical side. We have some, but fewer on the body side. We have a handful that are both. But anyway, it's worth checking out. It's worth paying attention to. All right. So, the heavy side, the heavy and diesel side that you have, are those all just kind of grandfathered type accounts, or do you go out and solicit more of that type of?
We don't have a lot of fleet accounts. I mean, when we're talking about diesel, we're talking about, 1/2 to 3/4 ton, just, light duty diesel is what most of that is. Obviously transmission, engines, timing chains, that's kind of what's done. If you're talking about what we call the old shop across the street, just because it could be dirty. Typically those projects are, take some time or something has to go somewhere. So we don't want to slow down the turnover in the regular shop. So that we've used that. And then we've got to a point where it's not really necessary. We bring guys back across the street. Like we've been back and forth over the last couple of years. But that we got 14 here and 5 over there, like 19 bays. Like that's huge, first of all, keeping technicians, right? And then, that type of stuff. So it's nice to have. And it's definitely good for the big jobs.
Well, what's interesting, and what I want people to kind of hear is the core of your business is retail, individual customers. That's the core of your business. That's the engine that you've created for your business. It's not these asides that because of your size, you've had the opportunity to accommodate or grow or expand. It's because you've done an amazing job with the core constituency of retail 101 relationships and customers. And so, talk to me a little bit about what you do to make sure that customers love you that much.
First of all, I mean, the new facility obviously makes it amazing, to give the customer that wow experience. We try to do that all the time. Constantly when we're looking at reviews and things, people are saying, very friendly, knowledgeable staff is always part of their stuff. We work really hard. I give a plug to Empowered Advisor. We work with them. My advisors work with them on phone skills and talking with people and those type of things, to just make sure that we're communicating on all levels with the customer. And that includes obviously digital levels, CRM, um, all different ways of marketing that we keep in contact or keep in touch with our people. Um, I mean, the Facebook thing has a place in it. I try to keep that personal and things that are mostly fun to see in the shop with the dog or with customers or cool jobs, that kind of stuff. And when you come in, we use the word, we try to have a stress-free environment. So when we come in, we try to make the customers feel welcome, that they're not bothering us or interrupting us, that we have time to speak with them about their, vehicle needs and those kind of things.
Give them I'm picturing you've got some snacks and Prozac over in the corner.
We haven't got the Prozac yet.
Okay.
And the beer cooler is upstairs in the but no, we have the little, refrige over there with the waters and the pop and diet pop. We have the full coffee bar, the popcorn machine. We actually give out a lot of trinkets to the customers. So like chip clips, magnetic chip clips are one of our things. We hang um hope your day is golden, and we have golden retrievers that are in the shop, dogs that are in the shop all the time. We have 4 dogs in the family, so there's one greeter at all times.
We did soapstones for a car coaster for your cup holder in your car. So the soapstones, they absorb condensation and whatnot. And when we came up with the design for it, the seller was like, or the person that was trying to like sell the soapstones to us, they're like, no, it needs to be bright, it needs to be loud, it needs to be bold. And I'm like, no, people are going to put this in their Lexus, people are going to put this in their BMW. Like, they don't want something that's obnoxious looking. Like, they're going to remember where they got it, put a mild, like a almost like a watermark type approach to it, make it classy, and those are really inexpensive, and they fit in your cup holder.
They can be they're a little pricey, so I don't want to sound.
Oh, you don't think so? Oh, okay.
Like, if we have anybody, first of all, our average RO is $800, but if we have anybody that spends over the $750 mark, they automatically get placed in there. And then we've got the smell good hanger of the dog, thing. So the car smells good. And then the ceramic pieces are in their cup holders. And it's simply like off-white with just our logo on it. This logo right here, just that's it. And then we also have the 2-pack of them, behind the front counter that we can hand to people when they go out. So, but those are really cool, but they're not, I mean, we see 500 cars a month. So like, and I think they're $5 a piece, right? So you could a lot of dough in those, but that's why we kind of set that limit of, like, we're not going to give you coasters. You can have
right. If I just do an oil change or a service, right? General service. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. But I like where your head's at with that. Is that now at 3,000, do I get a Yeti?
We'll work on that. We'll take that under advisement.
Okay. A branded Yeti, of course, but a Yeti none the same. Okay, so nonetheless, all right. So, so it's all about that experience you've created. Do you have a lot of waiters, or they come in, they get their experience, you give them a shop loaner type car?
You always have those conversations about waiters. We used to do a waiter oil change on the hour every day. And we changed that to our waiters. We will take 4 and we will take them at 8:00. They will be first thing, because basically we wanted to make it work for us and them. Some of our customers were so used to waiting. And so now it's marked on the calendar that this is a waiter appointment. We take 4 of them. Everything else is drop off base. Of course, you have people that say, well, I don't have a ride, but we have shuttle and loaner cars and the whole gamut.
Now, how do you do the loaner cars? I mean, is it like do you have like a loan type agreement with them? Is it a rental agreement, or is it a concierge?
I got the loaner agreement right through. I use Federated for my insurance. and they had a loaner agreement for me, photocopy the license. I have recently somebody told me about the loaner car app. I think it's just literally called loaner car app. And they have GPS tracking, and they have, the whole check-in process where the customer can do it and put their credit card into it. And therefore, if they damage the car or it needs filled up with gas or whatever, you can charge them for things. And I was looking at that platform to see if I should do that, because now we're up to 9 loaner cars, and where are they? Who's got them? We basically are pretty dinosaur at that point. We have a whiteboard, and we put a little widget on the workflow in Auto Vitals that says that these people are in a loaner car. So we can find it, but it takes a little work to figure out who's got what loaner car.
Got it. And I like what you said about the loaner app. That's very interesting. Now I know that so we had an episode. Let's see here. I want to say it was episode 34, where we had somebody from the company shoploaner.com, Laura, not just somebody, but Laura, come on and talk about what Shop Loaner is doing for auto repair shops. And I think that they also have the GPS tracking. I don't know if they have their own app, but they might. I don't recall if that was brought up or not. But Laura is a great contact. Also, like I said, episode 34, if you want to check that out. But that's worthwhile. It might be what you're referring. And so if it is, it's even a greater story and testament to the fact that Laura's getting out there into the market and helping all sorts of repair shops.
Yeah,
but they have a nice setup, right? It's pretty
Shop
inexpensive,
Loaner
I think, per car.
Yep.
Is that the one you were thinking of? Oh, that's great.
Shoploaner.com. Yep.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. So I think that's where I'm headed. It's pretty, without being like sales pitchy or whatever. I mean, it's less than $10 a loaner car a month. So I don't.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's actually 10. But yeah, it's a good setup. It's potentially, I mean, and she actually works with shops that are a lot smaller than you too. So that's, it's like you don't have to be, 19 bays to be able to work with them. But yeah, a whiteboard, that does sound,
little archaic.
Earlier I made a joke about put the binder down and back away, right? So maybe that's the next step for you.
I don't know if you know who you're talking to, but I'm an old guy. So those are, it's hard not
that's all right.
It's hard not to say those things. But back to your waiter thing, the waiter opportunity and where we go with this, everybody wants to talk about, should you have waiters, no waiters? Like you go to the auto shop owners Facebook page and you can listen to everybody going ballistic about waiters. Like that, again, the opportunity is that when somebody calls or comes into my shop, with the full 300% rule and digital inspection, we're expecting that invoice is going to be $800 to $1,200. So when somebody wants to come in and wait on an oil change, they are truly going to wait there for an hour. They are going to get a full digital inspection. They are going to get the full write-up. They are going to get the full service advisor interaction. They're not just going to get an oil change and roll out of here. And the people that ask for that they're like, I just want an oil change. Don't check my air filter. You have those guys still to come in. And we literally have a conversation with them and say, we have clients that come in here. And if you're just looking for the coupon deal, maybe you need to look somewhere else, because that's what we do. And that's what's included. I don't need them road testing my car. I don't need them, where's he going with my car? Like you kind of have to have that conversation every once in a while, but that's not.
Yeah. Listen, if you go to the doctor's office and you get diagnosed with, with high blood pressure or whatever, and then you say, well, I don't need those other tests. Really? Right. So, yeah. So I mean, it's worth, come on. Who's the expert here? Are you trusting me? These cars are getting more and more complex every single day. Let's take a look at your car and let you know a little bit more of what you can't see, right? Because you're familiar with the cabin. If you want, I'll clean it for you. But that's the bottom line. So I think you're doing the right thing by having those conversations. I think that's important. I know of a shop that they put a huge bunch of recliners and a large screen, and then they have the Xbox. They actually encourage They're waiters to play video games. You're trying to find a way that the hour happens like that, right? So that they don't notice that it's been a full hour. And so video games, movies, whatever, virtual reality, who knows? So, but I had another shop up in Michigan that they actually have a separate room with cubes, so that if you're doing office type work, you can go and get a cubicle at the repair shop while your car's getting worked on, and plug into the network and whatnot. So that's also interesting. But all right, so we don't have a lot of time left. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the impact that you have. Let's talk real quick about what Finzel Tech is Master Tech is doing in your community. What types of things is your repair shop? How are you involved in your area outside of repairing and making sure everyone's safe on the road?
We do. First of all, we're really involved with Ivy Tech, which we're fortunate enough to have a local tech college here. And not only by, sitting on their advisory council, but they have the high school technician awards and walkthrough and competition. We sponsor those type of things. Kind of a neat thing that I think I was in Boy Scouts back in the day, and the Pinewood Derby is still a thing. So we sponsor the Pinewood Derby and those type of things. Pretty much the major, like the Children's Museum in Terre Haute is really big. Chances and Services for Youth are really big, and they have big events that we always sponsor those type of things. And then obviously being in our local chamber of commerce, that type of deal. I think one of the biggest impacts I'm having on the community is will sound a little different, but the apprentice program, that's we're really giving back in that area. But I stay away from kind of the sports teams and those kind of things, because we've all done there with our kids, and it's kind of everybody's got one. So I don't do a lot of those type of things. But like when people come up for the small rural communities around me and they have like festivals or something, and they want a donation or a gift prize or a door prize, we'll put a $50 gift card in one of our coffee mugs with the chip clip and the coasters, and build a little thing. So if anybody that comes in with a need, or like somebody that was injured or has a bad medical problem and they're having a fundraiser for them, we'll do those type of things. So probably more like my accountant tells me you do too much of that, but you know, the community's been very good to us, so we do give back a lot that way.
Yeah, your accountant's wrong. No, I'm sorry. I'm overstating that. And let's not actually give out his name, because he's actually, I'm sorry, he or she is doing right by you to let you know that you have a higher percentage of give back than other businesses, right? That's their job, to let you know that. But at the same time, I think the small businesses are the backbone of the U.S. economy. And I think repair shops are a perfect example of those small businesses. And by small, I mean not Microsoft, right? I mean community-based businesses. And so I think that's great. I'm glad you're doing all of those things. Let's talk about Repair Shop of Tomorrow. Let's talk about how long have you been coaching other shops? How many other shops have you been helping?
I've been on board with them probably for about a year and a half now. I've been coached by them for 3 years, and a year and a half in, I kind of shifted that coaching to my son, who's running the front of the house right now. And,
so hold on. So you're coaching 10 other shops or more, however many shops you're coaching. But your own son is not one of them.
No, he gets coached by a repair shop. Yep.
Okay. Very interesting.
Obviously, anybody who's got a father-son thing going on, like he's tired of listening to me tell him what to do.
All right. So my son's 10 and that's already the case, right. But you're saying that doesn't change. No. Okay. Well, that sucks.
But the fundamentals of what we're teaching are the same. And obviously, because I'm connected with Repair Shop for Tomorrow, if our coach thinks that there's something that I need to get involved in, he lets me know.
Oh boy, he's telling on your son. He's telling on your son.
Ratting him out. But Yeah, no, I think that works really well that way. But again, and I highly advise that for anybody. Like the biggest thing, like so many guys are running a repair shop, and whether it's profitability, whether it's the ability to pay the technician that you need, whether it's the ability to have proper insurance, have loaner cars, benefits for your employees. I don't understand in this industry why it's accepted that we have to go without those things. Um, I think you have to have some type of coaching or teaching of what is going on and how to be profitable so that you can afford those kind of things. Um, and that's why I think coaching is a big part of that. I also believe that the customer service part that we really don't know a whole lot about. We were never really taught that as technicians or small business owners. I'm going to assume that most of us are not guys that said, I think I'm going to start a business. Let's go with a repair shop. I think it's mostly technicians. Like the advisor training and phone skills and things like that are making an over the top difference. So, um, I'm just a big fan of it. It's changed my business, you know, 200%. And I'm talking that in real numbers. Like it really changed the way that we are able to operate, and no pushback from customers on pricing, no pushback from customers on operating procedures. They really enjoy the changes that have been made and they talk about it.
Okay. Let's talk about, you said everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a coach, but a guy who's doing 20 cars a month can't afford you. Like, I mean, that's a tiny, tiny shop, right? And so, I did just grossly exaggerated with 20
Right.
cars. I mean, that's kind of silly. It's one car a day, right? It's kind of silly. But what size shop? At what point? How would you describe the size of a shop that once you're at this point, this size, if you don't already have a coach, you're behind the game?
I,
Or would you say
I,
to me
I
that if they only are doing 20 cars, they need a coach anyway, they need to figure out how to pay for it? What's
I
your thought?
I think it could be here, and I see this with some of the guys that I coach. A $500,000 shop all of a sudden becomes $1 million shop. $1 million shop, $1.2 million shop becomes a $2 million shop. And you're not talking about doubling the employees and doubling all that stuff. Okay. Those are some real numbers that I've seen there. But if you're a smaller shop, there's podcasts like this and others. There's Facebook page groups where you can get some advice, and you got to weed through it, right? It's the internet. You got to weed through it, but can turn on ideas in your head that you can go do a little research on and get some information. So, um, that could be the beginning of coaching, when you just are going out in the profession and listening in on some of these podcasts, or your suppliers, your Kukuis, your Auto Vitals, your bolt-ons, all these people like your software systems, Techmetric, Napa Tracks, all these people will teach you best practices. Like that's a place to start. Like if you're not doing that before you get a coach, make sure you know how to operate your operating system. Like you're taking advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point. We love here at AA Shop Marketing, we love taking a small shop, a 400,000, a 500,000, even a $600,000 shop. That at that 7-figure number is just itching at them, right? They want to be bigger. And so we've helped many, many shops go from that small number to the larger number, because there's some marketing things that they're not doing, that they don't know to do, that we turn it around and we bring those extra customers in. They're kind of fun projects, but it's a scary venture, right? Someone who's that small to invest that much. But if you don't, then you won't, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you don't actually invest, then you're going to be exactly where you're at next year and the year after and the year after. So you've got to kind of the leap of faith and do it. And so, but thank you for
Here's
that.
the other
I
thing that you
agree.
think when you think you can't afford it. First of all, there's coaching companies out there that make you sign a contract. I think we can all read right through that. But if your numbers start changing and you're month to month with somebody and you're actually implementing what you're learning, you can afford it. You will be able to afford it in the first month. I don't care who you're coaching with. If you listen and they're obviously giving you good advice, and you start putting things in play, whatever they're charging you, $1,000 a month, 15, 2,000, whatever it is, you will recover that the first month.
That's amazing. That's great if you got the right coach, right? If you got the right people. And I'd love to tell you that if you invest $1,000 in the first month with the type of digital marketing that we do, that you would also automatically get your $1,000 back. It doesn't quite work that way when it comes to SEO, when it comes to social media marketing, but it does happen. And so, it's still investing. It's worthwhile, both the coaching and the marketing sides. I'll give you an example. We were blowing up the numbers. We were watching with this one shop that we were working with. We were watching the numbers just continue to climb. The number of calls coming into their shop was just continuing to grow. And every single month he was saying, we're not getting any bigger. Our ARO is the same. The number of cars are the same. And I think it took the nudging of a coach that's not us, it's someone else, right? The nudging of a coach that had him look at his staff, and he rebooted his staff, and now his numbers are through the roof. He's been able to realize the benefit of the marketing that we've been doing, because if you can't handle the phone call that we are creating because you don't have the right coaching and training on the front end of the house, then you're not going to convert that caller to a customer, right? We're not a sales company, we're a marketing company. And so I can create the buzz, but if you don't know how to correctly handle them to make sure that you're making the most out of that engagement and you're making sure that they're comfortable and get them to keep coming back. If you don't have enough calls, you call me.
Right.
If you don't know what to do with those calls, you call Steve.
Right. Bottom line, like that, when you were talking about car count, that's what I was thinking. Like marketing, like even if you're a busy shop, like I don't want, when I talk to marketing people, I say right up front, I don't want to increase car count. I can't handle any more cars, because then I just start processing cars. It just happens. And so if you're that shop that's got all these cars and you've got 100 of them sitting out on the parking lot, like, marketing right now is not your issue. It's workflow, processes and procedures, like what's going on there. And are 50 of those 100 cars out there people that are really hard to work with, that you're not going to get paid on, that are crap jobs, that kind of, like, there's so much that you don't look at, like, I need more cars so I make more money. Not necessarily. Then when when there's slow times of the year, like, have you been marketing throughout the year so that you can take care of that time frame? So those are things that you're going to get advice from somebody who's done it for a while and had success. Now, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I like what you just said there about the marketing. Don't wait till you're slow to start marketing, right? Market throughout the year. Keep that thing going, so that you have the correct number of cars that you can handle. And if you're backed up, then you need a coach to make sure that you're more optimized so that you can handle more efficiently. And that's great. All right. So, I know that we're up against the end of our time together. I really appreciated the time together here. And so, thank you so much for coming on. I don't know. I wish we could keep talking. I'm having a great conversation.
Right.
I'm enjoying it.
Well, we'll have to do it again sometime.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. And so, if you want to kind of have a conversation with Steve, can people reach out to you, or should they reach out to me first? What do you prefer?
Finzelsmastertech.com. You can get my name, Steve, at Finzelsmastertech.com. You can reach out, and I think that's part of one of the things that led me to coaching. It's not a big moneymaker, but like all the struggles that I've had through 35 years being in this industry, to give that back to people and try to make their lives maybe not easier, but maybe happier, maybe some of the stress go away, so that maybe we can not turn to the evils and we can stay on track. I think that's what my purpose is right now in the industry. So reach out if you need my help.
I like it. So reach out to Steve. And if you're looking for marketing services, go to addi.me/jumpstart. That's right. It's addi.me/jumpstart. All one word, addi.me/jumpstart. You're going to land on a page for AA Shop Marketing where you can have the option, fill out the form and ask for the free analysis, the free digital marketing. So if you're listening to this podcast, I do those things for you for no additional cost. You have the option of actually getting a deeper dive. Don't worry about that for now. I just want to get some momentum, some marketing momentum for you, and maybe some coaching momentum for you. And so because a well-working shop is the one that actually receives the marketing the best. And so we're here to help. That's the point of the Garage Grid podcast. That's the point of AA Shop Marketing. And I'm looking forward to growing together. So thank you for being a part of this episode. Make sure that you like and subscribe all of the channels that you prefer to listen to so you don't miss future episodes, because we're dropping nuggets like this all the time. Maybe not as good as this episode, but you're going to like them anyway. So thank you for your time, and I'll hear from you on the next episode.